the Vice Chair of the committee, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, for her 5 minutes of questioning, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much, Chair Raskin. You know, I believe that there are two things to understand from our witness testimony today, and I want to thank our witnesses who are here in person, as well as those joining us digitally, for sharing their experiences and expertise today. But, you know, I think this is just simply an issue that Americans, so many people in this country, cannot believe is real. Civil forfeiture, Mr. Alvin, civil forfeiture means that the government, law enforcement, etc., is allowed to take away your property, often your car or even your home, without an arrest, without criminal charges, and without ever going to court, correct?
That is correct.
And as long as the police can claim that they believe this property is in some way connected to a crime, they can, you know, this seizure of one's property can just happen without any sort of recourse in the immediate term, correct?
That's absolutely true under the federal process.
And then the police can sell your home or sell this property and use the proceeds as revenues, correct?
After the property has been forfeited, yes.
Now, second, we know, Ms. Hamad, that in the United States, our criminal system over-targets the poor and over-targets people of color, particularly Black Americans, correct?
That's correct.
And it relies on the kind of exploitation of the fact that so many people do not have the ability or the resources to get adequate defense to allow this to persist. But when we put these two things together, what we get is a picture of what is happening now. That in the vast majority of civil forfeiture cases, the government is driving away cars, kicking people out of their homes for claimed suspicion, but not even the person that has this property needs to be connected to any of these crimes. This happens without arrest, without criminal charges. So Professor Bruley, what you see in your practice essentially is the combination of the inherent biases and, frankly, institutional racism and classism of our criminal system, combined with civil asset forfeiture, means it's disproportionately poor people, low-income people, and people of color that are having their property seized without really any proven cause, correct?
That is correct. And in fact, we mapped that in Philadelphia. We actually used geomapping to show that. You're absolutely right.
Thank you so much, Professor Rulli. And we have one of those people with us here today, with our witness, with Ms. Harris. Ms. Harris, the police, as you mentioned in your testimony, drove your car away, and for a reason that you were not completely understood when it was given to you. And they didn't even show you a single slip of paper when they took your car away, right?
Correct.
That is correct. And Ms. Harris, how long does the government take to contact you with a notice after they drove away with your car? You had mentioned it earlier.
5 years.
So they took your car without a shred of documentation, and they took 5 years to get back to you about that.
Yes, correct.
And when they got back to you about that, how long did the government, after they took 5 years of their time, of their sweet time, how much time did they give you to respond to their notice?
I believe it was between 25 and 21 days. And that was what they gave me, and they put the wrong address on there. So by the time I got the paperwork, I actually had 2 weeks.
So any amount of things could have happened. You could have moved. You could have had a change of address. They took 5 years to get to you, and then they gave you 21 days to respond to an enormous asset that they had seized. That's absolutely devastating to just lose overnight. That's what happened?
Yes, correct.
And initially, you weren't even going to pursue recourse because the legal fees associated with getting your car back before pro bono help was extended to you, you were just going to take it as a loss. Is that correct?
Yes.
See, and Chair Raskin, this is the thing that it gets down to, is the fact that increasingly so many of our communities, including the Bronx and Queens that I represent, do not believe and are increasingly not believing that we have a justice system in the United States, that this is just a punishment system that we have, a criminal system that does not even really center the actual justice of their innocence and actually gives them benefit of the doubt. We have a system that does not presume innocence until one is proven guilty unless you are wealthy or privileged in this country. And that is what we're here to really address. So I thank you for calling the hearing, and I greatly look forward to our continued work on this matter.
And thank you very much to the Vice Chair for her insightful questioning. I'm going to ask the ranking member, Ms. Mace, for any closing remarks or thoughts she has before I offer my own.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank you for having this hearing today, having